It's Saturday, October 23rd, 2021. I want to share a few articles with you today. Feel free to comment down below. And I just want to talk about some events that are taking place and some things that we all better be getting ready for. I talk on a daily basis, ladies and gentlemen, about preparation. We all need to be preparing in multiple ways. And, we live in a time now where all this reality TV and all this materialism is just really corrupting people's minds. But I want to share this article coming from The Hedge, and it's titled, Some Questions About America's Wealth. You're going to need more than money to be wealthy, ladies and gentlemen. Again, wealth is always a measure of materialism, being materialistic. The type of car you drive, the type of watch you wear, the type of clothes, your zip code, etc. And if you want to survive what's coming, you're going to need more than money. And you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself some very tough questions. But this article goes on to say, the television touts on a continuous basis America's soaring financial wealth. A nation's true wealth is its social order, which is unraveling right here today. Social decay is everywhere. You don't have to look far to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Rising stocks, cryptos, and housing is proof of America's soaring wealth while everything unravels beneath our feet. But what is wealth? That is the question. Is it the BMW, the Lexus, the Mercedes? Is it the Rolex watch, the diamond rings? Is it the zip code? Is it how much money you have in the bank? How about health? Health is wealth. If people weren't dependent on pharmaceuticals, if pharmaceuticals weren't available, how good would your health be today? Your health is so important, and you could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have health, you have nothing. And so to be, in my opinion, and according to this article, to be wealthy, you have to have good health. Health is being independent, not being dependent on pharmaceuticals and drugs and the system. We talk about getting out of the system as much as you can. You need to get out of the pharmaceuticals as much as you can. Stop being dependent on the pharmaceutical system. If you had to run 2 miles to get away from danger, could you do it? Could you swim 2 miles to get away from danger, to safety? Could you do it? Core physical strength and endurance is wealth, ladies and gentlemen. How about having no debt? Again, people in these nice houses, driving these nice cars, wearing the nice clothes, but they're financing the watch on their wrist. They're financing the clothes on their back. Many of these people, 2-3 paychecks away from not making a mortgage payment, but they have a nice zip code and they're driving a BMW and they're impressing everybody. They're impressing people they don't know. They're impressing people they don't like, but they're impressing. And so, we're so full today with all the reality TV, everybody driving a BMW today, everybody wearing a Rolex today. And again, could they afford to write a check and pay for it right on the spot? No. Easy money, this easy credit now allows everybody to put on this facade. You may have an extreme library, but how many of those books have you read? How much of that knowledge have you really absorbed? There's people on a daily basis always telling us what to do, how to do it, but have they done it? Are they walking the walk? More than likely, they are not. Can you feed yourself? Can you feed yourself? Do you have a garden? Do you know how to clean an animal? Do you know how to catch a fish? How independent are you if the power goes out? How about friends? The type of people that you surround yourself with, are they like-minded? If you called somebody at 3 a.m., would they come get you? If your car broke down, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, do you have friends that would get up out of bed and come get you? Skill sets, what kind of skill sets do you have? Can you operate? People always tell me, oh, this person has this car, they live in this neighborhood, they have 18 watches. Can they operate? Can they operate? Do they have a skill set? Can they survive? This is wealth to me. Somebody living in a nice house, driving a Mercedes, that doesn't offer anything to me at the table. if you can operate, if you know how to clean an animal, you know how to hunt, you're self-sufficient, you have loyalty, you're trustworthy, you're accountable. This means more to me than how many dollars somebody has. This to me says that is wealth right there. And if I can bring these people to my circle, I've acquired a lot of wealth. And if I can give back to these people the same thing, loyalty, trustworthiness, honesty, and bringing a skill set, then they're also acquiring wealth. Too many people out there, ladies and gentlemen, want something and have nothing to offer. But, again, ask yourself, what really is wealth? Are you healthy? Can you operate? Do you have a skill set? Are you out of debt? Are you trustworthy? Are you accountable? Are you walking close to God? This is wealth. To me, somebody living in a tiny house with zero debt, with all their bills paid off, is wealthy. The guy living in a $700,000 house who owes $600,000, has a $1,000 a month car payment, has $50,000 in credit card bills, has literally no money saved up, no cash reserves, no assets, only debt. But it looks good, but is he really wealthy? I would say not. I want to go talk about another article right now. And it was an article I read a couple days ago on CNBC, and it was talking about if you make $35,000 or less. And this to me was a really scary article because we know the average median income in America is $34,000 a year. 50% of US workers make $34,000 or less right here in the US. But this article bases this on $35,000 a year after taxes. That's $27,600. And that gives you $2,300 a month after taxes. It says that you should not be spending more than 30% on housing, and that would come to roughly $10,500 a year. That's $875 a month. And I must ask myself, where in the world would you be able to rent an apartment or a house for $875 a month? You certainly aren't going to do it here in the state of California. Maybe where you live, certainly not here. Food, they have it 17%. That's $387 per month. So when you take in the $10,500 for rent and you take in the $387 a month, which I think is around $4,600 a year, you come to a little bit over $15,000. And after taxes, the $27,600 after taxes minus the $15,000 basically leaves you at $12,000. And some people will go, well, that's great. You got $1,000 a month to play with. Well, you got maybe health insurance. You've got utilities. You've got to put gas in the car. How about the car payment? A used car payment, $300-400 a month, $100 for insurance. You're at $400-500 a month right there. That already leaves you at $500 a month. How about putting some savings away? How about an emergency? You fall down, you need 10-20 stitches at the urgent care. There's $500, boom, gone like that. So I just cannot figure out how the average American right now is making it. They must be drowning in debt. Comment down below. But again, where are you going to rent for $875 a month? And the next question is $387 a month for food. Now look, I eat a lot of food. I could not survive on $387 a month for food. That is just not going to cut it. So these are super, super conservative numbers for rent and food. In the real world, rent is going to be more like $1,200 or $1,500. Food is probably going to be more like $500, $600. But that's the real world. So I don't get it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how people are doing it. The Hedge, U.S. manufacturing survey slumps to 7-month low. Here's more good news, but the markets continue to go up. Another article, 11.5% of U.S. households do not plan to buy holiday gifts, more than twice the normal. Now, many people out there will go, oh, well, who cares? It's Christmas, yada, yada, yada. But this is going to have a huge impact on the U.S. economy, and we're going to see the repercussions heading into 2022 because of this Christmas. And many small retailers are going to bite the bullet. They're going to be out of business because they cannot get products. And if people aren't spending money, the economy freezes up. And we are going to see big trouble heading into 2022. Another one, poor Americans, credit card usage spikes as their savings run out. What a surprise. How did we know? We hear that there is $2 trillion in excess cash savings spread evenly across the U.S. population, courtesy of the trillions over the past year, which was pumped into the economy. This is nothing but a pipe dream, according to the article. 65% of excess cash is held by the top 20%, while 35% was spread across the entire bottom 80%. The top 20% hold $1.5 trillion in excess savings, while the bottom 80% hold $800 billion. Bank of America economist Michelle Meyer observed spending on credit cards among the lower income cohort has spiked 23% of a 2-year period, up from the summer average of 15%. Credit card spending is up. Debit card spending has slowed noticeably over the past several weeks. Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? Because the money is now running out. There's no money now in the checking accounts because the government subsidies, the unemployment benefits, is beginning to run out. And people who saved some of that have been living off of it, and now it's run out. So we're going to see problems here. And unless the government starts pumping out stimulus checks again, this is going to get messy. We're going to see a continued reliance on credit card spending, no doubt about it, because people are going to go to the grocery store, use a credit card. They're going to pay their rent on a credit card. They're going to start using credit cards to pay essentials like they were doing before this government stimulus came in and saved them. The loss of income, the government subsidies, the unemployment benefits, the loss of this is going to riddle the lower income population and much of the middle class, period. That's a fact. And there is no way to save this. We are past the point of no return, and we are at a place we have never been ever as a country. And people thought the party was never going to end. And people are beginning to realize that the party is over. And we're going to see, I think, a lot of panic in 2022. Nobody's talking about what's happening in China with these development companies not paying bondholders. Nobody's talking about the massive evictions that have been taking place. Some states have extended it, and many states haven't. And evictions are taking place, and they're going to take time, but we're going to see this eviction machine really revving up by the end of this year, heading into 2022. Retailers lining store shelves with props to hide supply shortage. You know, I was filming videos at least 2 years ago with the amount of vacant buildings, vacant retailers. And what they were doing is they were putting props in the windows to act like there was actually a store, because they were decorating the windows and putting props in the windows. So you would drive by and you would see clothes and you would see other items in the windows, and the lights would be on, and everything would seem normal. But there was no store. It was empty. They would just put props in the windows. And they're doing this now with store shelves. So, you know, you walk by, you don't notice the empty shelves. They're doing everything now. Shrinkflation, smaller packages, pay more. They're now putting props in the shelves so you don't notice them being empty. They've been putting props in the vacant windows of the retailers and the small shops. So we're all supposed to be oblivious, walk by it and be on our phones and just ignore what's really happening. Chicago Pizzeria forced to close due to labor shortage. This was interesting. Another restaurant in Chicago closes because they could not get cooks to come in at $18 an hour and make pizzas. The name of this restaurant was Coal Fire in Chicago. And we're going to see much more of this. We are living in a time that is unexplainable. I just don't have an answer. People always complain they don't have money. How many people would write in and say, JB, I don't have any money to buy silver. I don't have any money to buy emergency food. I don't have any money to put away to save up for a rainy day, have a cash reserve. There are so many jobs out there. And I'm not saying that these are career type jobs, but there are a lot of jobs out there where you could be making 18, 19, 20, 21 bucks an hour right now at a restaurant or some type of leisure and hospitality type job. It's not hard labor, and there's no excuses right now why you cannot be piling up some cash. I think people have been so conditioned now to just sit at home, watch Netflix, play video games, smoke dope, and just hope that the system is going to bail you out with another check. And I don't think it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Restaurants prep, this on CNBC, restaurants prep for long-term labor crunch by turning to robots to work the fryer, shuttle food to tables. Restaurants are trying out robotic and automated technology. And look, as I've said in the past, technology and robotics is going to replace millions and millions of jobs. It's going to replace jobs at Amazon. It's going to replace warehouse jobs. It's going to replace jobs at restaurants. It's going to replace a lot of jobs, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the frightening thing. We have so many people coming to America, coming to this country. How are they going to eat? How are they going to live? How are they going to pay the bills? How are they going to survive without jobs? And as millions of jobs in the near future are going to be replaced with technology, and we're bringing millions of people into America, and we have millions of people not working right now, how does this all play out? How does this all play out? I don't know. It's really crazy. Another one on CNBC. Movie ticket sales have topped 2020's paltry box office, but still trail 2019's haul by 70%. Hollywood is in big trouble. Hollywood is sinking. Hollywood is in a massive depression right now. And it's amazing, but I mean, it almost seems like Hollywood's not even relevant at this point. Big trouble in Hollywood. How about this one? A record $22 billion worth of cargo is now stuck off on container ships off California. Let me repeat that. $22 billion of cargo is floating in the ocean right now. And what nobody really talks about is you have food products, you have leather products, you have products that are perishable. It's yesterday was 90 degrees here. You're sitting, floating offshore for 2-3 weeks. It takes, I think, 2 weeks to get across the ocean from Asia to LA, a couple weeks. Then you're sitting 2-3 weeks before you can port. So you're easily floating in the water 5 weeks. It's been extremely warm. Food products, leather products just being destroyed, and other perishable products. They cannot sit there in this humidity, in this heat for this long of a period and not be damaged. So that's going to be another problem that retailers are going to have to deal with. Another one, part shortages hit auto repair shops, taking weeks to fix vehicles. If you can't get an oil filter for your car, no oil change. You can't get a starter. What if you can't get an alternator? No brake pads. What do you do if you cannot fix your car? How do you function in life? How do you get to work if you even have a job at this point to even go to work if you cannot drive your car? And again, this is our dependence on other countries. We can't get tires on our farmers' tractors. We can't get parts on cars now. And just think how bad this could get if it does not get repaired soon. Could you imagine that just getting a simple oil change would have to be put off for weeks or months? Getting a simple alternator or starter or brake pads. I mean, this dependency that we have just exposes how fragile and how weak we really are as a nation. That cars on the road wouldn't even be running if this continues to get worse. It's unbelievable. And just think, like, one small part, a chip, means that you can't even finish building a car. 99% of the car could be finished, but if you're missing one part, car can't be shipped, car can't be sold. Car doesn't get to the dealer because one little part didn't make it. Again, this is how fragile the system is, how vulnerable we are. And I'm going to close with this. Largest candy corn producer hit with ransomware attack before Halloween. This also coming from the hedge. Ferrera, candy company produces 85% of all candy corn in the US. It was hit by a ransomware attack earlier this month, now operating at limited capacity. And I leave you with this article because, again, how fragile is the system? How vulnerable are we right now as a country when we can't get auto parts, we can't get tires, we can't unload ships, we can't make toilet paper and get it on a truck and ship it to stores? And when we look at this technology now and what it can do, the damage that it can do to companies, the financial system, to your bank, to your money, and we put all this trust that everything on the computer is safe, the digits on a screen, everything's safe. What if you woke up tomorrow and every dime you had disappeared? And they said, hey, it's going to take a few weeks before we get it all sorted out. What are you going to do? What would you do if you couldn't use your cryptos? What would you do if you couldn't use that plastic card to go buy food, put gas in your car? What would you do? We have to be thinking outside of the box right now. There is so much technology out there and so many of these attacks, cyber, ransomware, a grid goes down. What would we do? Now, I know people out there are going to continue to say that would never happen. That could never happen. It's happening every day globally. Nobody and nothing is immune from it. And I go back to the old saying, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So I'm going to leave it there today. Look, it's a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I hope that you're doing something to add to the preparations. There is not a lot of good news out there, ladies and gentlemen, but the good news is that the world's not going to come to an end. The good news is you're prepared to deal with whatever comes our way. And the good news is you're alive, you're breathing today. Maybe you went to the gym, maybe you went for a walk, maybe you got off the couch and got some exercise, and that's the good news. The good news is you're continuing to stay on path, you're continuing to prepare, and the good news is that you'll survive, you're going to prosper, and again, the world's not going to come to an end. The world's changing, and you need to be prepared for that. And if you just want to sit at home and sit on the couch and watch Netflix and play video games and watch football games, the world's going to leave you behind. And unfortunately, the masses are going to be left behind. And they are going to be the ones that panic. They're going to be the ones that completely lose it all. You, on the other hand, continue doing what you do. I want to thank all of you for it because you reinforce with me why I need to continue to prepare, continue to be awake, and continue to get the word out. Because the masses are going to lose, but that doesn't mean that you have to or I have to. We're going to prosper and we're going to survive. Have a phenomenal weekend. God bless you all. Stay safe. And I look forward to talking with all of you very, very soon.